Hi! Today we are going to be talking about my top 10 books of 2025. I have scoured through all 92 books that I've read so far this year, and I have picked my top 10. There is going to be an honorable mention, but I was just picking, I was like, oh, I'll just pick my top ones and then I'll sort them through and narrow them down to the top 10. I literally only had 10 that were top 10 worthy that if I could, I would read them again right now. But unfortunately my TBR is too long and I can't afford that. Joking. I do reread books, just not that often. And so there's no particular order to these books. They're just how they stood out to me. And there is no real number one spot. I really don't like doing that because I hate having to narrow it down. And I know I will change my mind. What my top number one book right now is completely different than what it was 6 months ago and what it will be 6 months from now. And I just don't like limiting myself. So these are just really just top 10, no particular order. So my number 11 honorable mention is an arc that I read called Who I Was. I will put it right here, hopefully, if my editing skills are competent enough. It is an arc that I read by Julia Rose, my dear friend. This is her second poetry collection that just came out on December 1st, so I definitely recommend checking it out. It was such a good romantic love story from God to us, and I just really felt so connected in the book. And what I really liked about it is it's a poem and then it's a devotional that correlates to the poem with verses and inspirational messages from Julia, which I really felt really spoke to me and had lots of goosebumps throughout it. I just felt like it was exactly what I needed at that current moment time in my life, and it's definitely one that I'm maybe picking up and rereading from time to time like I did with her first book. Now, my number 10 spot, or the first book I'm going to talk about, is Maneater by Morgan Elizabeth. This is a Charlie's Angels retelling sort of arc. She is an angel, or they call them ravens, mavens, and she pretty much takes down different people with her little pink taser, and she falls in love with the owner of this resort corporation, whose current corporation is being tampered with, and he is a suspect, and so she has to go undercover and try to figure out who it is while having to deal with falling in love with him and not letting that tamper with her investigation and her possible relationship with him. Next is Story of My Life by Lucy Score. These edges are to die for. I got this as a gift from my sister. I love Lucy Score. Her books are a hit or miss for me, but this one I really enjoyed. Our main character is a romance author who goes to this small town because she finds this article about these construction worker men. She's like, oh my goodness, these would be perfect for the plot of my next book, and she ends up falling in love with one of the contractors and having to deal with writer's block, and it was just really raw and really really spoke out to me, especially because I am a fellow writer, and I just really felt like I was on this page and I really liked it. Next is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is the beautiful box set edition where it has Hogwarts on the side. I just read these for the first time this year, and I love them so much. I don't know what it is about the writing of J.K. Rowling. I know she has her issues, but Harry Potter he just means so much to me, and I really love this book. It gets so much hate because it's the first one, it's the shortest, I know, but for me, for a good fantasy series, it's all about that first book that sets the cornerstone of what the series is built off of, and I feel like this one did a really good job of doing that. Yeah. Now we're gonna do Savor It by Tara DeWitt. This is one that I picked up because of the cover, and I stayed because of the plot, because the plot is so good. It takes place in Oregon, and she owns like this farm, and her ex comes into town and like gets engaged, and she gets jealous, and they end up taking part in a competition in her town called the Festival of Spoons, and he's a chef, and so they're kind of like battling it out together. And I really liked it because I had never read a book that has like a festival that's not just like a Christmas festival, and I really liked it. Definitely picking up more by her. I couldn't put it down, and the way that they connected with each other and the way that they communicated with each other was very well done, and I feel like it was really true to the characters and true to real life. It wasn't just the fluff that some people put on pages, and I feel like she did a good job in doing that. Next, so we have three authors who have 2 books in my top 10. And so this is the first one of those. It is Morgan Elizabeth. She is one of my favorite authors. I have every single book that she's ever written, and I've read every single book that she's ever written, and I've loved every single book that she's ever written. Tourist Trap is one of her books that came out this year. It is about this guy. He lives in a small town, and this girl comes into town trying to get a little break from things. And she wants just a break from life, so she gets a job as a lifeguard, and she's kind of just I'm just here for fun. And he is currently dealing with having to work 2 jobs trying to pay for his house that he is currently living in, that a family member is trying to get him evicted and sell the house for more money than they could possibly afford, and he wants to try to buy it back. And so they're trying to deal with the banter because she's all flirty and fun, he's all serious and broody, and oh my goodness, it was just such a fun summer read. I love summertime books and I love Christmas books so much. They both just are so fun and so lively, and they just make me feel like I can just take a breath and really feel like I'm on vacation, whether it's in a small Christmas snowy town or it's on the beaches. Even though I live in Florida, I never go and see the beaches, so this is kind of like a fun way to really just immerse myself in the world without having to get my actual feet dirty. Yeah. The next book was a surprise to me because I had read a book by her and I liked it. It was okay. Like, it was a decent book. And then I read this one and I was blown away, and I'm like, I have to read everything else that she's ever written. And that is The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. This book, oh my goodness, was so good. It's about this girl. She gets drunk at a baseball game, and she ends up calling out and berating this baseball player because he's not doing a good job, and she's just having a fun time. She doesn't think anything of it, and he takes it personally, and he gets upset, but he doesn't know who it is. And then she ends up getting a job as a reporter on the sidelines to interview them, and she ends up interviewing him and getting to know him, but he doesn't know that she's the one that heckled him. And they kind of have that little fun banter and dealing with that relationship, as well as the relationship that he's talking to the person who heckled him, who's like apologizing, but he has no idea that they're the same person. And it was just written so well, and the cover is absolutely gorgeous. I just love it so much. I never read a baseball romance before, and I was like, oh my goodness, I know nothing about baseball, but it was so good. Next is the first book that made me tear up / cry this year, and that was First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. Oh my goodness. Single mom's daughter calls into a radio show about this dude who doesn't believe in love but is the host of a love show. And they end up going and creating this show on the love show, and it's pretty much finding her love. And they get to know each other. They're sitting in the booth for hours on end, and they start falling in love with each other. And the emotions that B.K. Borison puts on the page is just mind-blowing. It felt so raw, And so Unbridled, and I could not get enough of this. I read the audiobook for this too, through my library. Definitely recommend the audiobook. I absolutely loved it. Loved the idea of a talk show. Let me see if I can find it. They actually would have moments in it where it was actual little like a screenplay of the radio show, which I felt like was really just a fun element, and it made it unique. That's what I like. I like unique books that stand out and that aren't just a carbon copy of every other book out there. And this did it, and I cannot wait for the sequel to come out next year. Now, for the second and last book that made me cry this year. Beg, Borrow, and Steal by Sarah Adams. Oh my goodness. She is the oldest daughter dealing with oldest daughter problems, which I felt so seen. I am the oldest daughter of 4 girls. I felt very seen on this book. I feel like she had a camera on my life and just showing of trying to make sure you're there for everyone, doing everything for everyone, and choosing yourself and choosing to be selfish in a way that's not like, I don't even know how to describe it. Just choosing yourself and not feeling ashamed because you want to live your life the way you want to live it. And she falls in love with this dude who was engaged, and he ends up moving back into town without the fiance, and they broke up. And he's kind of like dealing with that and trying to rebuild his house that he just bought. And he has a secret that no one knows. He is a ghostwriter for a series, but no one knows that he's actually the writer. He's the person who wrote it because his dad is a big author, and he feels like he's just in his dad's shadows, and he's trying to make a name for himself that isn't his father's. And their romance is so cute, so emotion filled. I also listened to the audiobook for this while I was like doing my puzzles, and oh, such a good decision. It was such a good book. Highly recommend, especially if you're the oldest daughter. Now for the last, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This was very hard. I was choosing between Goblet of Fire or Order of Phoenix. They're both such good books. Such good books. I love the series so much. I'm currently reading Deathly Hallows right now, so I haven't like officially finished it, but like I've watched all the movies and definitely recommend. I just like how you're kind of seeing everything start to build up, everything starting to fall into place. You're dealing with the whole competitions, which honestly I love. The competition between the 3 schools was so much fun. I loved it. The ending, I just love it so much. It just, I really feel so immersive in it, and I'm not the reader where you can picture like worlds, but because the movies did such a good job while I am reading these books, I am picturing it because I've seen it happen, and I've seen it happen accurately to the book. Obviously, the movies can't fit everything into the books, but they do a gosh darn good job at doing so. And now, for the final book in my top 10 reads of 2025, we have Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. I knew I was going to love this the minute I heard about it. I was just reading it feeling like I was just watching a nostalgic Christmas movie play out before me. This man is the ghost of Christmas past, and he comes to haunt her. And she's like, I haven't done anything that's deserving to be haunted. I'm not like Scrooge. And together they go on this journey of trying to figure out why his magic chose her. And then they start falling in love. And once Christmas Eve happens, he's going away. And so now they're trying to figure out a way to make their love stay alive. And I just felt like this was just such a cute Christmas read. And it just opened up so many different areas that B.K. Borison could take this series. And I've already heard the synopsis about book 2, and it's already like my most anticipated book of 2026, Grim Tidings, I believe. And oh my goodness, I cannot wait. I will read everything B.K. Borison has written. I cannot wait. well, that has come to the end of my top 10 books of 2025. Here they all are in their absolute majestic glory. Top 10 of the 92 books that I've read this year so far. My goal is 100. We'll see if I can hit it. I just want to say thank you guys, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your holiday season, a great rest of your 2025, and I cannot wait to hear about all of the amazing books that you read in 2026. Bye!